Who am I talking with?
Kristin Tyler.
And we're going to start over again, even though nobody knows we're starting over.
That's
again
right.
After I get a phone call on my phone on which we're recording.
And
you do what?
I am one of the co-founders of LAWCLERK.
And what does LAWCLERK do?
Sure, I'm so glad you asked. LAWCLERK helps connect busy attorneys with our nationwide network of freelance lawyers that we call law clerks, that the busy attorneys can hire on demand when they need an extra set of hands around the office.
How'd you come up with that idea?
Great question. So the idea for LAWCLERK came out about 3 years ago after myself and my two fellow co-founders, who are also partners in my law firm, we had left a larger regional firm where we had 50 plus attorneys with all different areas of expertise and skill level, and we loved the ability to walk down the hall and ask an employment law attorney a question that came up on a different litigation matter, and then be able to tap into their knowledge bank and get instant answers, and that's wonderful. And so when we left and went to the smaller firm, the idea came about, well, isn't there a way with technology that we can do something similar to still tap into that subject matter expertise and make it easier for all attorneys to find experts or to find help in general when they need it? And so that was the...
So are you still practicing law or not?
A teeny bit, yes.
Okay.
I love being a lawyer. I'm an estate and trust lawyer. I love my clients, and it's a pleasure to get to help them.
When you say there were, I think you said 3 of you.
Yes.
So you're practicing law a little bit.
Yeah.
Are the other folks practicing law still or not?
A little bit,
Teeny
yes.
bit.
Yeah. LAWCLERK just launched in January.
Okay. Well, that's now I get it. So the idea came around earlier, but just launched.
Launched about 3. Yes.
What did it take to get it launched? I mean, so you're sitting there practicing law, so obviously something it's not going to be done on a legal pad.
No.
What did you have to do to get it launched?
Sure. So after the idea came about, we spent a considerable amount of time reviewing each state's ethics rules and the ABA model rules to figure out a way to build the system to be fully compliant with the rules, because that's obviously the number one question we get off the bat is, how is this compliant? And we love to tell people the answer. And if you want to know more, we have a 105-page white paper on the site that goes through it in nitty-gritty detail. So that took about a year to really think it through how it could work to be compliant. Once that was done, the next task was to find the right technology partner, the right developer to help us build it. And so we spent at least another 6 months trying to find that person, and we did. We found a great team.
How'd you find them? Because everybody has that question, because they're lawyers, business people, accountants, not developers, not tech people, but they're going to start something that's founded on legal technology.
So luckily, one of my co-founders had some experience with a couple of different tech companies through some bankruptcy cases and learned some do's and don'ts. And so we applied that in our own search. And one of the biggest factors was we're an outsourcing company, so we outsource. We work with people remotely all the time, but we did require a developer that would be in our office in person at least 2 days a week to talk about it and monitor the build process. And so that was a key factor. And so once we found that person, we raised some money and built the site. Luckily, we had our own test kitchen of sorts with our firm where we could test out some issues, work out some kinks. Obviously had some moments where it was like, oh my gosh, why didn't we think of that? And so you go in and improve it. We're constantly adding features to try to improve it and make it a more streamlined process.
Who funded it? You guys did bootstrap?
Self-funded, friends and family. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you like about that, or what do you dislike about that, or maybe you have no feelings about it, just had to get done?
I think it's really exciting that the people that invested in it, they said they believed in us, they believed in the idea. That, of course, is very humbling, and also gives you a tremendous sense of responsibility of, we got to work really hard to make this thing become a real company, and that's what we are doing every day.
So it just launched in January, but you were working on it for a period of time before that. What are the high points where you said, this is going to work? We know, now I've seen something, whatever it was. Was there a moment where you go, this is going to work?
For sure. So some of the highlights I can remember when we, our big official launch was kind of at the ABA Tech Show in Chicago in March, and I will never forget when we had a ton of attorneys sign up and register their accounts that day, because there's no sign-up fee, there's a monthly fee, so it's super easy to become a part of our system. But we had one attorney in particular, he immediately on his own proceeded to post a project from the floor, from our booth, in the middle of the ABA Tech Show. And we were like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And that was one of those moments where it was like, this is going to work. Like, that's awesome. So.
Have there been times where there's like, that low point where you go, is this are we going to really be able to pull this off?
Oh, sure. I think every company goes through those days where you're just like, oh my gosh, like we never thought of this challenge, or you have. I mean, we have a really good success rate on our projects of over 98%, but you have a handful that go wrong because life happens, and a freelancer gets sick, or a freelancer has a death in the family, and you got to hustle and scramble at those, and those are stressful times because we're committed to getting good work product for our
What are your
attorneys.
responsibilities now, day in and day out? I mean,
Sure.
obviously your life has changed from being a practicing lawyer.
Yeah. So we get to do a lot of super creative work. I kind of help oversee the, I guess you'd call it, marketing and sales function. So for me, my number one favorite thing is to go out and talk to lawyers about Law Clerk. And so I love being at these events. I love meeting new lawyers, helping introduce them to a new way to practice law and get things done. And it's super exciting for me. Yeah.
So you're handling the marketing and business development side.
That would be that is my responsibility, yes.
What's your hope? I mean, where do you, if you envision this and you say, boy, 2 years from now,
Sure.
3 years from now, 4 years from now, as you guys talk about it, what's your hope? What's your vision?
So our hope, I guess my non-financial hope is that we really can help a lot of lawyers. This is a tough profession. It's stressful, and by helping both lawyers, I mean both sides of the spectrum. So the people who maybe, for whatever reason, need to pick up some extra work. We have people that are government lawyers or work for nonprofits, and they need to pick up some extra money to pay for kids' braces or something. Like, this is another way they can moonlight, pick up some extra work to do those things.
Right.
That, unless a lawyer wants to go drive Uber, what else are they going to do?
That's right.
And so I love that we can help people who are maybe stay-at-home parents, or caring for elderly parents that are sick, or military spouses. We have a lot of amazing freelancers that have extra capacity to do work, and we're helping connect them with people they would otherwise never meet to get that done. On the flip side, the busy attorneys who are staying up working until 2, 3 in the morning, burning the candle at both ends, like, some people want to live life that way. I don't, and so we're trying to give them more resources. Yeah.
What's the business model? So the lawyers can come in, and so I'm here, as a lawyer. I'm at the Clio event. I do this work,
Sure.
whatever. And I sign up. I'm in part of it. I put in a description of what it is I do, what my availability is. That costs me nothing as the lawyer, right?
Absolutely.
So they can come in and do it all.
As the freelancer.
As a freelancer,
yes,
right?
Correct. No fee to be a part of the marketplace and put yourself out there and market yourself being available for work.
Yeah, which, like you said, what are your alternatives for doing other part-time work?
Yeah.
The last study that came out, it was the Chicago 1 and 2 that came out, in the number of lawyers that were doing part-time work was about a third in Chicago for doing people law, representing consumers and small businesses. So it's a huge amount, and they don't have to do that identical work to be available on Law Clerk, because they could be called upon to do various types of things.
Doc review. Any lawyer can do that. General research. Any lawyer can dig into an issue and research it and give you a memo, analyze the issue.
Now on the other side, the lawyer that's working until 2 in the morning, or the firm that's a firm of even 100 lawyers, they need some particular expertise. They come into the system.
Sure.
What's the business model and the relationship with you and them?
Sure. So they sign up, create their account. Again, no fee, no monthly fee.
Right.
Let's say they need a motion for summary judgment, and they're willing to pay $1,000.
Okay.
They pay that flat fee price because it's all done on a flat fee, and the hiring attorney names the price. We take a commission on the transaction as our payment, and the net amount goes to the freelancer.
How did you get beyond you don't have the bars go out and hate you. So there's that thing too. Along the way, as I watch some of this, once the bar decides to take somebody down, they'll take them down with any reason that they can. So if I charged a fee to do that, and I was able, and said, okay, we charge a marketing fee for that transaction, but we don't participate in the fee, the bar shuts them down on it.
Right.
How were you able to do it where you're taking a commission on that?
Because it's an attorney to attorney transaction. It's not attorney to client. It's a big factor of how we haven't had the same issues that others. Yeah. Exactly.
Now, do you keep does Law Clerk keep a lawyer relationship because you're getting that fee? Because you're earning a commission. And I'm just curious.
Right.
You got
we are the marketplace. We really are just the facilitator between it, and so we have not run into issues on that with any of the bars.
But Law Clerk gets a percentage of the fee.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
As a corporation, not as a lawyer.
Exactly.
I'm not going to type of questions. I mean, it should absolutely be done, and it's a great idea.
Thank you.
I mean, years ago when I was practicing law, and AOL came about, and I realized that I could find law students and message boards on AOL.
Yeah.
And I would hire them. And if you were a third-year student, you got $15 an hour. If you're a second-year student, you got $13
an hour. Oh, wow.
So you're,
that's amazing.
So then I terminated our legal research at the firm because the students had free legal research through their law schools.
Right.
So if it was a large project, we handled it.
Right.
But if it was a motion hearing, jury instructions or something, the students handled that.
That's so cool.
And I kept thinking, this is the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
You've taken that to a much greater level where people can do all that.
Yeah.
How many lawyers you've been doing this only for months?
Yeah.
How many lawyers you already have that have signed up that want to be the clerks?
The clerks. So we have over 1,000.
It's cool.
More and more every day, and they have the most diverse backgrounds. I love the story of the one guy is a litigator in a small town in Alabama, and he had done a federal clerkship. He went to Birmingham, worked at a big firm, then moved back home to a small town. And he's got his practice there, but he's not always busy. And so he is this phenomenal litigator, great writer. People rave about him, say he does great work. How would you ever otherwise connect with some guy in a small town in Alabama to hire for freelance work? Or we've got a guy, and we've got girls too, but the two that come to mind right now are this other guy we have in the San Francisco area. He's actually either retired or semi-retired. He's a 30-year lawyer, bankruptcy litigator, Harvard law grad. And once he heard about us, he's like, this is great because I don't want to run my practice full time. I also don't want to golf every day. And so he comes in, we see him, he picks up 1 or 2 projects a month. And I'm sure he doesn't do it for the money. He just does it because he enjoys the practice of law that much and he wants to keep his mind sharp and help out.
I'm going to tell a friend about it that I was walking around with this from my island. Very sophisticated IP litigation stuff for plaintiffs. They didn't want to do all the lower level stuff.
No, exactly.
So he always contracts it out and things like that. But to be able to find the people. How many people are on the other side?
Around 400 now. So it's a good scale, and that's something we're mindful of. We don't want it to explode on one end and not the other. And so we've been very mindful as we grow and market to new areas to try to keep those scales in balance.
That's very cool. You've been at this, you've been at it for a while because you've been thinking about the idea, you guys have been talking about it, how do we find developers, how do we get it up?
Right.
There's other lawyers here that are thinking about starting things. If we were sitting up on the stage and they got to ask you, what would you tell me? What's your advice based on what you've done so far to tell other lawyers?
I would say, if life is short, and if you don't do it, you're going to kick yourself. So you might as well go for it. And if you don't think you alone have the skill set to do it, then find yourself a team, whether it's one other person, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Find a team where your skill sets complement each other and you can work together well. And I'm a firm believer that every day is a gift and you got to live it to the fullest, so go for it.
So when we're here, you feel that sensation among the people. But, if I went back to my hometown where I had practiced law in Wisconsin, now I'm in Seattle, that ain't going on. People are they're doing their thing as a lawyer, they're stressed about things and all that. Why is it these lawyers are doing that, though? And from everyone I've heard from the last 2 days, I think is just do it. Just do it. It's something, you got to make the decision. Life is too short.
Start small, find an hour a day. Everybody hopefully can find an hour. Get up an hour earlier. Block it out on your calendar. Just take an hour to work on the idea, work on the business, and move it forward bit by bit. And those little bits of effort will snowball and propel you towards hopefully achieving your goal.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kevin.